crazy hair. Crazy hair. Hello, hi. How are you? It's Cass decosta. Welcome to a little late night version of Cass on the Couch. So, I just got back from my mom's house, and in New York City, you need to take some type of public transportation in order to make that kind of thing happen. So, I had to take the bus, and then I walked the rest of the way. But when I was going over there, this group of teenagers got on the bus and they were a little rowdy, and it was like, they were really loud and they're very disrespectful. On the girl is, she's like got to be like 13, 14, maybe 15, but her body said she was like 17. You know how that goes, girls who develop a little earlier. And anyway, so she was like, I don't care who hears me. And, I'm 51. So I'm literally coming from like a totally different era. And when I was a teenager, you just didn't do shit like that on the bus. You were respectful to the bus driver, and you just were not rude. You didn't make everybody else's bus ride like a pain in the ass. But anyway, so I got off the bus. They got off the bus at the same place, which was like, oh boy, because now I had to walk down the block with them, and it was like, 6 or 7 of them. It was like a pretty decent group, and with all this gray hair, I am a prime target to to something happening. But anyway, um I went in my mother's apartment building, and then I came out, and lo and behold, this same group of kids is on the bus when I get on the bus. So they were like really dominating the entire bus. And I just sat there and I thought, well, like, what happened to, like, where did civility go? And are we teaching these kids anything about etiquette and, like, what are we teaching these kids? That's what I want to know. What I'm going to write that too. What are we teaching these kids? I don't understand it. There's just no manners. There's no like social etiquette, and it's really bothersome. It's very bothersome. And maybe I'm old fashioned, and maybe I just need to like just, zip it and mind my own little New York City life, but it can be draining, especially at certain times of day, literally. At certain times of day, like public transportation is actually a very dangerous place. And the older you get, the more dangerous it becomes, because there's just no respect for people who are older than you, you know? I digress. I digress. But yeah, it bothers me, and I thought, well, what could I do, right? What could I do as a New York City mom to address this issue? And a lot of people would probably go to, well, we need to like, this light is glaring in my glasses, and even though I need the light, I don't want it glaring in my glasses. Anyway, um, I think what we need is some better, because I know there's probably programs for teenagers, but clearly we are not hitting the mark. So I would say better programs for teenagers is something we should really start thinking about and addressing. These kids just don't know what they're supposed to be doing. There's just a little too much free time. There's too much internet time. There's too much game time. There's just too much time where they think they're being adults because they're walking around with cell phones and they're texting. And so they think they're being grown-ups. And you, my viewer, you know that's not true. They are not grown-ups. And while they may be functioning, they are still not well versed in a really good, cross the board way. Ask them about history, they don't know a damn thing. Barely math, they just know how to count dollars. Does anybody know how to cook? Can they sew? Like, what do they know how to do? They know how to work cell phones and game systems and computers. That's not enough. I don't think that's enough. I don't think it's enough. I think we need a better system in place. If they're going to be obsessed with their cell phones, let's teach them how to make money on those cell phones. You know what I mean? If they want to be so independent, let's at least empower them with knowledge so they're going about it in the right way. Teach them how to start a business. Teach them what paperwork to file. Teach them what programs to apply for. Teach them what a business model looks like. And then give them some options they can get into right where they stand. That's my idea. Let's empower these kids. Because what I saw was a lot of energy getting expelled in a non-productive way. I'm all for kids doing what, exercising their independence. I like it. But let's kind of maybe give them a little knowledge, teach them a little stuff, so that all that energy gets directed in a positive manner instead of nervous energy where they wind up having sex prematurely and producing more illiterate children. Because we've already established and seen, if you watch the news or any social news website of any kind, you know that the adults in the room are who are supposed to be in charge and keeping shit running smoothly and tip top, honestly, above board, nice. No. No. What we have is a bunch of fucking criminals and snakes. And the adults in the room are a freaking mess. They're a mess. They are not leading by example. They're not leading by example. It's really frightening. And I'm trying not to concentrate on it. My daughter gets in my ass about this all the time. She's like, you need to stop talking about politics. And I'm like, listen, can you see the disastrous train wreck that's going on? I can't. It's just crazy. I never thought in my entire lifetime that there would be so much shit going on. But anyway, in regard to the teenagers, I don't think we're doing them the service that they deserve. I don't think we're teaching them the right stuff. And I would like to start, and I'm putting this out there so that the law of attraction can hear me. I would literally like to start a program that teaches them social media skills, responsible social media skills, okay? Like how to brand yourself in public in a productive and non-hoochie way. How to file the right paperwork to become a brand, to become a legal business, like how to do it. And help them follow some dreams. But also present to them some very good, solid, if you just get the work in, business models where they can be up and running and on their way with little to no money and just some elbow grease, just getting out there and doing the work. And I think it's important to present to them those kind of options because it doesn't have to be complicated and like a nightmare. It doesn't have to be like that. So that's really all I wanted to touch on. I live in the city, I live in New York City, and I see a lot of kids on public transportation. Staten Island has an extensive bus system. And I haven't owned a car in like literally like 15 years. It's crazy. Maybe even 20. Um, that's city life for you. But you see a lot of kids when you ride the bus a lot. And you see a lot of teenagers. I'm not sure the adults in their lives are really serving them enough. The things they're talking about are way beyond their age. The behavior is so kind of like F you and in your face. It's like, if you don't like it, don't ride the fucking bus. You know what I mean? Public transportation. Public transportation can be a really interesting experience, especially in New York. I can't even imagine going to someplace like, like Paris or even England and taking public transportation. I mean, I'd love to do a blog series about this though. But yeah, it's an experience in New York. I've seen people get mugged. I've seen people get beat up. I've seen people get really hurt. Really hurt. I have feared for my life in a subway station. I really have. I have feared. Um, and just like, please God right now. And so that kind of pressure though, for an adult, it's a lot, but can you imagine for a teenager? Uh, my parents stopped really kind of chaperoning me on public transportation when I was in like sixth or seventh grade. Seriously, then it was like take the M4, like take the M4 and count 8 stops, and then you're there. And then my mother would just like give me some money, and that was life. It was crazy times. It was crazy times. But, you had all your friends on the block. You had your neighborhood friends. You had your school friends. And for a lot of us, high school was somewhere you had to commute to. It was not like just like right here. In Staten Island, where I live, the high school is literally like 4 blocks from the ferry terminal. So these kids are everywhere. It's like getting inundated. They descend on us at a certain time. So there's certain times of the day that I absolutely just won't travel because it's really nuts. And I left from my mother's house at like 6:45, 7 o'clock. And so these kids were like hanging out because they haven't gone in yet. Still like not dark. Ugh, crazy, crazy. When I was a teenager, you needed to be in by dark. That was it. If you weren't in by dark, your ass was fucking dead. Dead. That was it. I was facing the wrath. If I was not in by, dark, I was facing the wrath 100%. But I never backtalked really. Like this is something you just didn't do. You had to maintain some semblance of respect because my mom was one of those people that she just pull off and smack you. And you never really knew when that shit was coming. So I did not backtalk her at all. It was not happening. Not happening. But these kids today, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. They're like, fuck you. What are you gonna do? And it's true. What are you gonna do? We have taken discipline and just thrown it right out the window. It's just like discipline is just not a thing anymore. Um, which is funny considering that things like pedophilia and creepy creepers are more prevalent. You'd think you want to really have an ironclad control over a daughter in this time period now, because there's internet and there's so many more ways for creepy guys to get around your daughter. But no, uh don't even think about um spanking your kid in public. Say, don't do it. Don't do it. Can't do it. So how would you kind of gain some kind of, connection, or just like with your teenager, like, please just don't do this? How do you even go there when traditional disciplining, and I'm not saying beat the shit out of your children, but a pinch on the ass works. It works. So the thing is like, in 2021, how do you connect with your teenager? How do you do it? And so for me, I think the only logical way to go is to kind of appeal to their materialism, appeal to their entrepreneurial desire for, more stuff. And maybe you can teach your kid how to run their own business. Lots of kids are doing this. Okay. Lots of kids are doing this. There are some very, very successful young entrepreneurs. And I think that's the best way to go. When my daughter talks about being an entrepreneur, I get excited. I'm excited for her. Like, yes, do it. Do it. Get in there. And I hope that she does get exactly, what she wants. She's got the chair. She's kind of got a brand going. She just doesn't have a lot of continuity. She doesn't have like an e-com store or anything like that. And she's gone from, beautytude, cosmetic queen to beauty queen. So I don't know. I'm a firm believer that your Instagram handle should either be your name or your brand, or both if you can fit it in there. Right. So my brand is decosta daily, and then everything is like in my name. So my Twitter, the Instagram, it's all my name. And it's really, in today's modern world, it is totally all about brand, and it's all about video. It's all about video. Get out on the video. And so kids are making videos, but some of the stuff I see on video is like super disturbing. So I'm thinking they would need like a social media etiquette class, right? Social media etiquette. Like, literally just learn how to present yourself properly. Um, yeah, learn how to present yourself properly. Learn how to develop your brand in a productive way. And act kind of age appropriate. I don't, nobody wants to see a 15-year-old girl acting like an adult. She's a girl. And I think we have like morphed into a society where we are glorifying the sexuality of females at a really young age. And maybe we haven't morphed into that society and we've just figured it out. Because, obviously men were marrying like 13-year-old girls. in the beginning of the United States. And men have always been pedophiles. So perhaps we're just waking up to how prevalent that is. But the fact of the matter is there's a lot of pressure on young girls, teenage girls, to sexualize themselves in order to get attention because we're not teaching them how to be smart. We're not giving them any skills that will set them apart and will also set them up to compete in a male dominated business world. We're not doing that. We are not empowering young women at all. And the problem, that's one problem. And then the second problem is we're not teaching young boys how to communicate effectively with young girls in a respectful way, and how to be respectful of the young girl's desire to better herself by educating herself and learning skills. Boys are just conditioned almost from birth to treat girls like incubation objects and sex objects and literally nothing more. They're not learning how to communicate in an effective way at all. And I'm seeking to change that. I want to change that. I want to support them. I want to educate them. And I want to teach them how to not only be independent, like financially stable and independent, but also to function in a healthy communication, and that's a respectful communication, and to teach them how to have female friends in a good way. Like, it doesn't always have to be a conquest. And women you're not interested sexually are not worthless. I'll say that one again. Women that you're not interested sexually are not worthless. Because that's the mindset that we are giving young boys. If he doesn't want to date you, then you're not worth being, nice to or respectful to, or even, base level civil accommodating to. You're now nothing. And so I could be an asshole to you. And nobody in the room is going to stick up for you because we're not as sexually attracted to you. And that is fucked up. And it fucks with girls' heads. And they get addicted to drugs, they get eating disorders, and they ruin themselves trying to live up to like some kind of crazy standard that's not even realistic. And I want to create a safe space for women and young girls that want to grab the bull by the horns, reinvent themselves, learn a new skill, but more so work through the baggage. Let's work through it. Let's shed that bullshit. Let's shed it. Let's get rid of it. Let's address it, close it up, and get rid of it. We're going to divest. And then move on and have like a good experience, because a whole new thing can happen to you when you least expect it. I mean, when you least expect it, you could be like, what the fuck? I can't believe how wonderful this is. But you can't see those moments if you're ignorant and if you're thinking narrow. You know what I mean? Like, if you're thinking about getting the latest Nike trend sneakers instead of where you're going to be in 5 years, something is not right. Something is not right. We are not teaching our teenagers that. We are not teaching them to think in the long term. This is what sets us apart from European countries. These kids know exactly what they're going to be doing until they're like 21. And most of that is going to school. Even the tradies have to go to school. Like, come on. We are so far behind. So I think I'm going to try to figure out a way to do my little part. I don't know how, but somehow I'm going to figure out how to empower women and girls, and maybe even young boys and men, to communicate better, to be more respectful. I heard so much disrespect on that bus ride that it was actually like mind blowing. And it saddens me that we're in this place. It really does. It saddens me we're in a place where these young children, like 14, 15 years old, they just don't know how to talk to each other in a productive and healthy way. It's just disgusting. The English language is getting like butchered, basically. And it's literally just, it's painful for me. It was painful for me. They were so loud that I actually needed, I'm in that old lady place. I had to hold an ear. I had to hold an ear. What? I can't. So as I go into finishing up this esthetician thing and really getting rolling on an actual business, I'm thinking of what my charitable arm will be. And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be Project Be the Proof. It's going to be a project of helping people elevate to that next level. I'm going to support them in that. I'm going to provide computer time. I'm going to provide makeovers. I'm going to provide education, social media education, um, how to work social media platforms to your advantage, branding, how to beef up your resume, how to sound like you are, you're on your fucking way, you're interested, you're doing it, how to work Shopify, how to go e-commerce, how to, get an insurance license for free, how to change your life for the better, how to be the proof that no matter what your upbringing, no matter what your economic circumstance, no matter what it looks like is against you, you could do it. You could do it. You could do it. You can be the proof. I'm the proof. I had everything stacked against me. Everything. Everything. I have some battle wounds, but I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. I'm so close, I can freaking taste it. It's amazing. I'm literally like one test away from like changing my entire life. It's, it's amazing. I never thought I would get here. I felt so trapped 2 years ago. So trapped. If I could do it, like anybody could do it. You know what I mean? If I can do it, anybody can do it. Anybody can change their life. Anybody can choose a new path. Anybody can say, you know what, I'm not happy. This is not serving me. and just go in a different direction. And the thing I feel about teenagers and young adults is that doesn't dawn on them. They are not shown that soon enough. Not enough kids. Now, I live, not, I won't say like the ghetto, but it's pretty rough neighborhood. My apartment's cheap. And it's not that these kids are without creativity or even mental ability. It's that they're not getting the same education that more well-off neighborhoods are getting. They're not getting classes on economics. You know what I mean? Like, they're not getting encouraged to follow their dreams. Their student numbers, they have to be present. They barely have any homework. They're barely passing the test. These kids are barely making it. But they have potential, and they have grit. I mean, these kids are surviving in some very, very, very rough neighborhoods. But nobody's saying, hey, if you have this dream, we could do this or that. And my goal is to teach them how to apply for the funding they need. Teach them where to find the resources. You're not going to get everybody. Some kids are going to be like, I don't want to do that. But the industrious kids, they're going to do it. These are kids that are going to start sneaker brands. These are kids that are going to start skincare lines, wig shops, waist trainers, insurance, paralegal, financial planners and advisors. These are kids that are going to utilize the resources available once they know the resources are there. Once they know that all they have to do is be 18. Like, what a low threshold. In today's modern world, all you need to do is be 18. And then you can go online and sign up for any damn business you want to do. And if you're dedicated, you can do it. So it's a matter of sussing out, what do they want to do? What do they want to do? I don't think anybody's asking. I think we should definitely be asking. We should definitely be asking. We want to know what's happening with these kids. And giving them some resources. Give them some computer time. Giving them a place where they can print shit out. Give them a place where they can sit on the internet and they can do that online class. Now, I do think that a program like that, the kids would have to maybe keep a certain grade point average, or at least demonstrate some real desire. I would have an event that kind of weeds them out right there in that first night, right? So you announce, you do a little talk, a little speech, and then you tell them, listen, I'm going to ask 3-5 questions. Whoever's left standing after those 3-5 questions is in. Everybody else can go home and try again next year. And those people that are in, though, they earn now resources. So by sheer dedication, you can earn a laptop. by sheer dedication, you can earn this or that. You know what I mean? So you help them out in getting on with the journey of making themselves entrepreneurs. And I think that would be pretty cool. I think it would be really pretty cool. Because you can sponsor like homeschooling if they don't have a high school degree, whatever it is. You give them 1 year in the program. And in that year, you help them get the education in place, get the resume right, get the branding right, and get started in some kind of business, whether it's an e-com business or designing something or, Etsy shop, Shopify shop, do t-shirts, whatever the fuck it is. Or they want to like become a real estate agent, they want to become an insurance agent, they want to become a mortgage broker, wherever it is, you help them through that. And just the end result that they've now managed to turn their lives completely around, that's the proof, right? So it's Project Be the Proof. Because I'm the proof that just because you grow up with 2 drug addicts and 2 alcoholics, that's really the deal. My parents were alcoholics and drug addicts, and it was a wild ride. But just because you grow up in that environment that is unhealthy, really, doesn't mean that you're going to then wind up like, a drug addict and alcoholic yourself. I drink. I'm drinking right now. I'm drinking Corona. But I process liquor completely different than my mother. And, my stepfather is passed many years ago from his drug use and his drinking. Like it was real. But anyway, a lot of teenagers in the city deal with that. That's a reality. City life is hard. And a lot of people get sucked into New York and they get spit out. It can be very unkind too. So I'd like to give back in some way by trying to help people turn a corner and get to something new and, find happiness in a new way, a new route, a new something. And I hope I have that chance. I do hope I have that chance. I hope that everything falls into place the way it looks like it's going to. And, 2 years from now, I'll look at this video and everything will already have come to fruition and be in place. And it'll feel so good to see those smiles and that confidence and just that light in people that they're like, yes, I do have a chance. I do. I really want people to feel that because it's just the best feeling. It is. It's the best feeling when you set your mind to a goal, something, and you're just like, I know if I could just get there, I'm going to feel so great. And you do. You do. That's like the best feeling. It's the best feeling. And I want young adults to have that feeling of accomplishment. I think they're just not set to a standard anymore. They're not held to a higher standard anymore. Our standards are just so low. They're so low. It's so bad. It's so bad. So anyway, that's my little dream and my little goal. And thank you for joining me while I talk about it. And excuse me, my Corona. This is Cass, and this has been decosta Daily. Thank you so much.